Hello, good evening to everyone. As we're getting closer and closer to Pesach, we'll mention a few more halachas that are associated with Pesach. Once we checked for chametz, we have to nullify the chametz. Even though we checked and we know that there's nothing in the house, went through all the different places, possible places that chametz would clean the house. We want to make sure that that if something was left, it's still nullified. We are declaring it ownerless. It's considered obliterated. So anything that you really saying that's nullification if it's something that you could not find during the search for chametz. So what does that mean? You have to decide in your heart that there's no meaning to this chametz, there's no value to it. It's considered as nothing. It's considered to you, it means nothing. And it's like the afar aretz, with the expression that we use, afar aretz, they're like the dust of the earth. That's the meaning of the essential meaning of nullifying chametz, that it's considered like the dust of the earth. The rabbi said that you have to say, you have to utter the words that although you're nullifying the chametz, all the leaven that is in your possession, in your heart, you know that you don't want it, you still have to utter the words. So what do we say? We say in Aramaic. The verse is the statement is in Aramaic, which means we say kol chamir v'chamir. I'm going to translate it soon. Kol chamir v'chamir deikavushu, say any chametz that I have in my possession, meaning that I did not see it and I did not obliterate. I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of this chametz. Libotel should be nullified. Uleheve hefker should be considered ownerless. Gafo dao, like the earth, like the earth, and no, that has no value. Soil. Now we need to understand the meaning of the words that we say. If you say these words, you're reading it in Aramaic and you don't understand what you're saying, it's not good. So, if you don't understand the Aramaic, you should say it in the language that you do understand. For example, if you speak Hebrew, you should say it in Hebrew as long as you understand what you're saying. And if he says it in a language that he doesn't understand what he's saying, but at least he knows that the statement that he's going to say now would mean that he's going to obliterate the chametz, he fulfilled his obligation. Fulfilled the obligation of nullifying and obliterating a chametz. But he has to, and the initial way to do it is to, if you want to read it in the Aramaic, right after read it in English or Hebrew, whatever your language is, to make sure that you understand what you're saying. That's point one. Now, point two is during the month of Nisan, we have the custom, at least before the morning of the 14th, to go to the rabbi and to make him the authorized person to sell your chametz on your behalf. He is selling the chametz, and you should, when you go to him, you have to make a kinyan. What is a kinyan? In Jewish law, you have to, the acquisition has to be done with some kind of act. So
raising a handkerchief.
Yeah, so picking up a handkerchief is one way. There's different ways of acquiring things, but when it comes to movable objects, which chametz is movable under the category of movable object, then you have to do a kinyan, and this kinyan is being done by lifting a handkerchief, lifting a garment, a cloth, something like that. And that should be written in a shtar. Over here in America, it's not the custom to write all the places where you live in chametz. Some people that have valuable chametz that they want to eat after Pesach, so Halacha says that you're allowed to sell it. Close, you put a note on this closet. This closet is designated for chametz. You're selling the house. So in some communities, they also write they left the chametz in this room, and this in this closet. It's locked, it's closed. There's a note that it's chametz. Over here, just write the. In America, the custom is just to write the apartment or the house number or the address, and this is how the rabbi would sell the chametz on your behalf. So the rabbi would usually sell the chametz to a goy in the eve of Pesach, right before Pesach, and there's a noosa, there's a whole language, a set language of how it's being done. It's called Orev Kablon. He's your representative. The point is that the places that you are storing chametz, they need to be closed well, and you should write on this place that it's sold. And so you'll have a reminder during Pesach that it's chametz. So if you have frozen food or cooked food that is chametz and you want to keep till after Pesach, you have to close that area, put it in a box, close it, leave it in the freezer, and write on it sold. Make sure that it's identified that it's chametz, so you wouldn't by mistake come to eat it or take it. Now, if let's say you took a pantry, yes, some people have big pantries, especially in Florida. Big pantries is almost like a room. You're walking into a room, and some areas of chametz you put aside. Let's say part of the pantry has chametz. There's a whole question whether you're allowed to enter this room or you're not allowed to enter the room. So now, since you sold the chametz in that room, you're allowed to enter that room. Or putting chametz in a closet, are you allowed to open the closet on Pesach or not? So the halacha is that if he needs to enter the room that he sold to a goy, and it's right oifen chorig, which is not a usual thing. It's unforeseen situation or uncontrollable circumstances. He has to enter the room to bring in an object that he left there, utensil, whatever it is that he left in that room. Obviously not the chametz, but things that he left in the room, he's allowed to go there and take it. So the time for burning the chametz is the morning of the 14th of Nisan. You should daven early so you can finish eating chametz until the 4th hour of the day, which is not the 4th hour that we obviously, it's called Shoiz Manius, and so the time is usually 10 something. After that time, you should not eat chametz at all. So the 5th hour, they make a bonfire. You should burn all the. We know that in the laws of checking chametz, he has to leave 10 crumbs. So you gather these 10 crumbs. The Gemara in Pesachim discusses at length how to store the 10 crumbs to make sure that no mice have access to it and the like. Say you survive the night, you have the 10 crumbs. You have to make sure that by the 5th hour you should burn them. And the other chametz that you have in your house, some have the custom to burn the wicks of the menorah from Hanukkah, to burn the wicks that were used for Hanukkah light. Some have the custom to burn the lulav and hadosim from Sukkot, to also put it in the fire. There's special, the prayer that we say, it's a very special prayer, overcoming the evil inclination, burning the chametz within the chametz. So it's a very holy custom. It's important to do it and to do it right. So to do it right, we have to finish eating by the 4th hour. By the 5th hour, we burn the chametz. We need to say again, kol chamira v'chamia, any chametz that I have in my possession, that I seen it or that I didn't see it, whether I obliterated or I did not obliterate it, should be considered as ownerless, like the earth. And then he says the Yirotzin special prayer, as I mentioned, that is printed in the Haggadah and also in the Siddurim. We have the special Yirotzin special prayer that we say at the time of the burning of the chametz. He has to be careful to nullify the chametz before the 6th hour. It should be done because afterwards it's not in your possession anymore. So nullifying something that is not yours does not help. So therefore you have to make sure by the 4th hour to finish eating, by the 5th hour to burn the chametz, by the 6th hour it's over. Okay, so this is it for today. We'll have another few videos on Tanya, a video on daily Parsha, Geula, and Ein Yaakov. So stick around, I'll be right back.